Can you see how sometimes your own mind gets wrapped up in the problem of the day? And how which seems really so urgent, especially if it's a Dharma problem. You know, should I do this meditation or that meditation? Oh, I don't know which one to do. You know, but when we have a big mind and see the big picture, we see that so much of the stuff we worry about and fret about is actually quite inconsequential. Yeah. So it's important to keep coming back to this big picture. Otherwise it's so easy just to get caught, you know, in our own drama of the day. So at the BBC, Venerable Tarpa talked about, you know, the recognitions that we have as we approach the Dharma. You know, the Buddha as the doctor, the Dharma as the medicine, the Sangha as the nurses, and ourself as the patient. We usually forget the last one. Yeah. We're not the patient. We're not the person who's sick, who needs advice. We're kind of with the Sangha, and sometimes we're with the Buddha. Especially as Venerable Sepel pointed out, if sometimes you're in the position of teaching, then, well, I'm the Buddha and you're the patient. Yeah, aren't you? Don't you want to come to me and I'll give you some medicine? I don't have any illness. Okay, so you know, this one, if we're the patient, puts us right back on the ground. Yeah, we're not up in the air somewhere, you know, almost at the Buddha's cloud. We're on the ground. And I was thinking, telling Venerable Damcha, when we were working in the forest, you know, how the Singapore monastics who she went to, you know, about her wish to ordain, told her to go bow to the Buddha and just make prayers. And I said, if I told people in the West to do that, how many of them would do that? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think people would just take that advice. I mean, she almost didn't, but then she finally did, you know, to take the advice of you know, go and make prostration. Put your nose on the ground for a while. You know? I mean, prostration you have to do something with your mind and with your speech. But there's a reason that the prostration, you go all the way on the ground, because your nose is on the floor. Yeah, and it's symbolizing in graphic detail, you know, with your nose on the floor, that we're the patients. Yeah, and that we're returning to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha for refuge. Yeah, we're not the almost enlightened, or in the ranks of the almost enlightened. We have our nose on the ground, okay? And so that attitude of humility makes us very receptive to listen to the teachings. Yeah, when we're humble, we can hear the teachings because we recognize, you know, I need help. And here's the Buddha's teachings that are helping me. When we don't have that view, then the teachings kind of, you know, in one ear, out the other. We pick and choose which seems good. We listen to the Dharma teachings and then we eat popcorn afterwards. We would eat popcorn at home if we were listening to the teachings online. But in real life, you can't bring your popcorn in here, so at least you eat it in the break time. Yeah. Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, eat popcorn, watch teachings, put your feet up. Okay, so it's important to remember that we're the patients, and to have that view and that kind of humility and trust in the three jewels. That's quite important. Okay, so we're going to start today with the Ratthapala Sutta. Ratthapala is the chief character in this sutra. And it's, you know, we all have our own stories. You've been hearing some of them on the BBCs of how different monastics have finally decided, you know, how to jump off the cliff. And so this is how Ratthapala did. And, you know, you hopefully will see maybe some parallels in your own life, because we all have things that we need to overcome, things that we need to work out in order to, you know, take that leap. So, I'm going to be reading from Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation, simply because it's easier for me to read from a book than from the online, and you have Tenisaro's translation, I think, but I don't think they're that different. But the main thing is to listen. You don't have to read along with it. Okay, so thus I have heard, says Ananda, the Buddha's attendant. On one occasion, the Blessed One was wandering in the Kuru country with a large sangha of bhikkhus, and eventually he arrived at a Kuru town named Tulakotita. The Brahmin householders, okay, so the Brahmins were the upper castes, you know, they all thought they were pretty important. The Brahmin householders at Tulakotita heard the recluse Gautama, the son of the Sakyans, who went forth from a Sakyan clan, has been wandering in the Kuru country with a large sangha of bhikkhus and has come to Tulakotita. Now a good report of Master Gautama has been spread to this effect: that Blessed One is accomplished, fully enlightened, perfect in true knowledge and conduct, sublime, knower of the world. Are these terms sounding familiar? Yeah, this is the prayer that we do at the beginning of all the teachings. Okay, knower of the worlds, incomparable leader of persons to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, enlightened, blessed. He declares this world with its gods, its maras, and its brahmas, this generation with its recluses. Here, recluse means a spiritual wanderer, okay? With its recluses and brahmins, its princes and its people, which he himself realized with direct knowledge. He teaches the Dhamma good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end, with the right meaning and phrasing, and he reveals a holy life that is utterly perfect and pure. Holy life refers to the monastic life. Now it is good to see such arhats. Then the Brahmin, so that's the Buddha's reputation. Then the Brahmin householders of Tulakotita went to the Blessed One. Some paid homage to the Blessed One and sat down at one side. Some exchanged greetings with him, and when this courteous and amiable talk was finished, sat down at one side. Some extended their hands in reverential salute towards the Blessed One and sat down at one side. Some pronounced their name and clan in the Blessed One's presence and sat down at one side. Some kept silent and sat down on one side. So you can see already there's different people with different personalities, people with different degrees of receptivity. Yeah, some paid homage in a very traditional way. Some people just chatted with him. Some people didn't pay homage. They just sat down and, you know, check it out. Okay, so he's talking to a diverse group here. When they were seated, the Blessed One instructed, urged, roused, and encouraged them with talk on the Dhamma. Now at that time, a clansman named Ratthapala, the son of the leading clan in that same Tulakotita, was sitting in the assembly. So Ratthapala is the son of the big wig in town, okay? Yeah, the son of the leading clan in that same village, okay? So he's a big wig, it's the son of a big wig. There's certain expectations on him that the society and his family have on him, that he has on himself. Okay, so he was in the crowd listening to the teaching. Then it occurred to him, as I understand the Dharma taught by the Blessed One, it is not easy while living in a home to lead the holy life, utterly perfect and pure as a polished shell. Suppose I shave off my hair and beard, put on the yellow robe, and go forth from the home life into homelessness. So he heard the Dharma teaching, yeah, he thought about it, he has some aspiration, you know, to live the holy life, perfect and pure as a polished shell. But it's difficult to do that, to live a really pure life, when you're at home and as a householder. Why? Well, you have a lot of duties when you're a householder. Yeah? You have a family. You've got to take care of your family. You can't just say to your spouse, look, I'm doing my practice, you go to work and earn the money, take care of the kids, do all the social commitments, and I'm going to stay at home and meditate and study. Yeah, that's not going to work for a marriage, okay? Yeah, so you have to get a job and you have to contribute financially. And, you know, then you have to have certain clothes, you have to have a certain kind of house, your spouse wants to be with you, then of course you don't always get along with your spouse, so then you have to spend a lot of time renegotiating and talking and, you know, I said this, but I didn't mean this. Oh, yes, you did. Now, why are you always accusing me? You know, I think everybody's been in love at one time or another. You know the scene, okay? So you have to go through that. Yeah, then you have the kids. Yeah, they didn't have Nike shoes at the time of the Buddha, but, you know, nowadays your kids want a certain kind of shoe. When they're 5 years old, another kind when they're 6. You know, then you have to earn the money, you have to put them through school, but they don't want to go to school, but you got to make them go to school, and they're going to college even though they don't want to go, even, you know, and they want you to carry the debt of paying for it so that they don't have the debt when they get out. And you're saying, you look, you're on your own, you're 18, and they're going, no, I'm not, I want you to support me until I'm 55, and you know, and then when you die, give me all your money, no strings attached, and why don't you give it to me now instead? Why wait till then? And, you know, and there's the whole thing that family life involves, doesn't it? Yeah, and you have to be friends with the parents of your children's playmates, and then, you know, you have your own social life and your spouse's social life, and I mean, it just goes on and on. Then you got to look a certain way, so you got to go to the gym. Yeah, you know, because you need to remake your body. I mean, you bulge where you're not supposed to, and you don't bulge where you're supposed to, so you have to remake your body so it bulges in the way that, you know, you know, you're supposed to, according to what the models look like. So, you know, there's a lot involved in living a household life, isn't there? Yeah, and then of course when you live a household life, nobody's happy with you, you know. First your parents are pestering you to get married, you know, you grow up. So when you're growing up, it's first, don't get married, wait a while, I want grandchildren, but not now, not when you're teenagers, so cool it, you know. Then after you've hit a certain age, it's like, when are you getting married already? You know, something wrong with you, you're not married, so then you get married. Then you think that will satisfy your family. No, when are you going to have kids? You know, you need to have kids. My friends are already grandparents and I'm the only one, and I really want some grandchildren. You've got to give me some grandchildren. You know, so then you have one kid, you have 2 kids, maybe you have 2.5 kids because that's, you know, what you're supposed to do. I don't know what you do with the other 0.5 that you're missing, but, you know, you got to be normal. And, you know, then you have to take care of the kids and drop them off at grandma and grandpa's. And as soon as they start to cry, your parents give you the kids back to you to take care of, because they only want them when the kids are being nice. Yeah. So, yeah. So there's, I mean, you have to take care of a lot when you're a householder. And then, you know, when you did the marriage certificate, you signed up to live happily ever after. Yeah, but then 5 years into the marriage, your spouse has an auto accident and they're paralyzed, you know, they're paraplegic. And now you're married to a paraplegic, you know. Or 10 years down the line, your spouse, who you're going to live happily ever after with, has cancer. Yeah, and then, you know, 5 years after that, you're a widower, you have your kids, you've got to put your life together somehow to bring up these kids. Yeah, and yeah, it's difficult. It's very difficult. Okay, so Ratthapala has some awareness of this. So he says, why don't I shave off my hair and beard and put on the yellow robe and go forth from home life into homelessness? Okay, so home life is the householder life. Ordained life is the homeless life. Okay? So when we talk about ordaining, it's not changing your clothes and then going back to your flat and living the same way as you lived before. It's the homeless life. Okay? Which means that, you know, you say to your parents, to your family, I care about you, I will see you from time to time, but I'm not going to be as involved in your life as I was before when I was living in town doing, you know, as a householder, because my life now is dedicated to the Dharma. Yeah, and then your parents go, what? Yeah, are they a cult? And you try and say, no. And they go, but they must be a cult. They're controlling you. Yeah, what's wrong with you seeing me just as much as you saw me before? You know, you're always my sister, brother, son, daughter, mother, father. You're always that. You know, who are these people that are trying to take you away from me? And you're trying to say, Mom and Dad, nobody's trying to take me away from you. I've decided that, you know, I want to put my life in a different direction, yeah, than I was living before. This is my decision. I'm still your son, daughter, mother, father, whatever it is. You can't say I'm still your husband, wife. That one you have to cut, okay? That one gets cut for good. But the other ones, you know, I'm still that. But, you know, I'm not going to come to the 4th of July barbecues with all of the cousins, you know? I'm just, you know, I'm not going to do that. And it'll be okay. Nobody will really notice, actually. Yeah? But Mom and Dad aren't happy, you know, because that 4th of July is really important. And then, of course, Thanksgiving. You've got to come home and have Thanksgiving, you know, with the whole family together, because everybody in the family plays their own role. You know, your sister and brother fight at every family meal. Your mother, you know, starts nagging somebody and that person gets mad. And your father is too drunk. He's, you know, out on the bed. You're saying, no, what's the scene in your family?
Well, usually they only get together once or twice a year, so they don't have time to argue.
Really?
Usually, yeah.
Oh, my family doesn't, that doesn't mean anything. They have plenty of time to argue.
There's not many family arguments.
Okay. well, some families, you know, whenever there's a family get together, there's the chance to argue, you know, and you fall into all your old roles, you know. I mean, when you go to visit your parents, don't you become somehow a 6-year-old again? In some ways, you know, mom and dad saying, you know, you aren't eating your spinach. You know, I heard at the Abbey they eat spinach. Why aren't you eating your spinach here? Papa eats his spinach. Okay, but we fall into all of our old emotional roles. Okay, you know, and yeah, so that's Thanksgiving. Then there's Christmas. And of course, they want you to go to Christmas Mass or Christmas, whatever they do on Christmas, or, you know, you're supposed to go to a Hanukkah party and eat so many latkes that you feel sick the next day. And, you know, and then there's, of course, Easter and Valentine's Day. I mean, you better send them something, each family member something for Valentine's Day. And there's their birthdays and their anniversaries, and, you know, and they want you to be part of the whole thing. Yeah, and so you're kind of living at the monastery and then going out and living at the monastery and going out and living, you know, and you're getting a little bit crazy doing all of this because you're trying to please everybody, and of course, none of them are pleased. And even if you stay at home and you have your 2.5 kids and you make a 6-digit figure income, they're still not going to be happy. Are they? Well, they might be more happy than if I'm wearing maroon, you know. But just think about it, you know. Are parents ever totally satisfied with what their children do? Okay, anyway, so Ratthapala has this thought coming through his mind, okay? It's just this thought coming through his mind. Okay, then the Brahmin householders, I should say, the thing I really like about the EML course is I can tell it like it is. Because you guys signed up for exploring monastic life. Yeah, you didn't sign up for, she's going to tell me what makes my ego feel good. You signed up for exploring monastic life. If you were people at any other Dharma course and who asked me about what about, can I practice the Dharma living a lay life, I would tell you, sure, of course you can. And you can have a wonderful marriage, supporting each other, growing in the Dharma together, and bring up Buddhist kids. I'd tell you all of that, you know, but you signed up for EML. So just remember that. Yeah, because I'm telling you like it is, yeah. I remember one year we had EML, and there was, remember the 2 people in this, oh boy, they both of them were very unhappy, you know. One young man was like, the way you talk about marriage, it's awful. I said, yep. And he was not at all happy with me, you know. And then there was one woman who was very attached to her mother, and she was very unhappy. Yeah. So anyway, you can complain to Venerable Samten. She's the office manager. Yeah.
Retreat manager.
Oh yeah, we also have 2 retreat managers. Yeah, Venerable Jampa, Venerable Damcha. Yeah, complain to them, please. I'm on holiday. Okay, so then the Brahmin householders of Tulakotita, having been instructed, urged, roused, and encouraged by the Blessed One with talk on the Dhamma, delighted and rejoiced in his words. Then they rose from their seats, and after paying homage to him, they departed, keeping him on their right side. So that's why our right arm is exposed. This is the side with which you show respect to people. So when you walk around statues, when they, approached the Buddha or left the Buddha, the right side was always towards the Buddha. Okay? Soon after they left, the clansman Ratthapala went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, he sat at one side and said to the Blessed One, "Venerable Sir, as I understand the Dhamma taught by the Blessed One, it is not easy while living in a home to lead the holy life, utterly perfect and pure as a polished shell. Venerable Sir, I wish to shave off my hair and beard, put on the yellow robe, and go forth from the home life into homelessness. I would receive the going forth under the Blessed One. I would receive the full admission into the Bhikkhu Sangha." And the Buddha responds, "Have you been permitted by your parents, Ratthapala, to go forth from the home life into homelessness?" The reason he asked this is at the very beginning, some people ordained and then the parents complained to the Buddha. These are our children, we need them at home, because the children, they didn't have Social Security and Medicare. So, the kids had to be at home and take care of the parents and do everything. And so some of the parents were upset. So then the Buddha said that, it's good to get the permission of your parents. So that's why he asked Ratthapala if he had that permission. Ratthapala said, "No, Venerable Sir, I have not been permitted by my parents." And the Buddha said, "Ratthapala, Tathagatas do not give the going forth to anyone who does not have his parents' permission." And Ratthapala said, "Venerable Sir, I shall see to it that my parents permit me to go forth from the home life into homelessness." Okay? Because having the parents' permission it makes it easier afterwards. Then the person isn't going, well, maybe my parents are unhappy, I should go home and take care of them, they don't want me to do this, da-da-da-da-da. So you have your parents' permission, it's settled, Okay, then the clansman Ratthapala rose from his seat, and after paying homage to the Blessed One, he departed, keeping him on his right side. He went to his parents and told them, "Mother and Father, as I understand the Dhamma taught by the Blessed One, it is not easy while living in a home to lead the holy life, utterly perfect and pure as a polished shell. I wish to shave off my head and beard, put on the yellow robe, and go forth from the home life into homelessness. Give me permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness." When he had said this, his parents replied, "Dear Ratthapala, you are our only son. Dear and beloved, you have been raised in comfort, brought up in comfort. You know nothing of suffering, dear Ratthapala. Even in the case of your death, we would lose you unwillingly. So how could we give you our permission to go forth from the home life into the homelessness while you are still living? You will be so unhappy. We will be miserable. You will cry. We will cry. Why are you going off with those idiots who ask you to do such a totally extreme thing, Ratthapala? Are you totally out of your mind? You've got to start, having a SEP account and an IRA account and saving for your old age. Otherwise, what's going to happen to you when you're old? You're not going to have any income, and you have to work and get your points in the Social Security system so you can get Medicare when you're old. And you have to save some money, and the interest rates are good now. So earn your money, put them into some long-term whatever it is, and make a lot of money, Ratthapala. What are you talking about? Shaving your head and your beard. You're not going to look good anyway doing that, Anyway, we need you here. For the second time, then Ratthapala said that. His parents responded the same way. For the third time, the clansman Ratthapala said to his parents, Mother and father, as I understand the Dharma taught by the Blessed One, it is not easy while living in a home to live the holy life, utterly pure and perfect as a polished cell. I wish to shave off my hair and beard, put on the yellow robe, and go forth from the home life into homelessness. Give me permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness. Please, Mom and Dad. For the third time, his parents replied, Dear Ratthapala, you are our only son, dear and beloved. You have been raised in comfort, brought up in comfort. You know nothing of suffering, dear Ratthapala. Even in the case of your death, we would use you unwillingly. So how could we give you our permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness while you are still living? Besides, what will we say to our friends? You know, John's son is a lawyer, Harriet's daughter is a doctor, you know, Clement's daughter is a stockbroker, and the Schwartz's son is a I don't know, dentist, something, he's a hedge fund guy, Yeah, anyway, one of them's gonna marry Donald Trump's other daughter, and they're gonna be loaded, and what am I gonna do? Say, my son, went off to follow some guy who wears, a man is wearing a dress? That's what I'm gonna say to my friends, especially this friend who's gonna marry Donald Trump's other daughter? I can't do that, Ratthapala. Okay. Then, not receiving his parents' permission to go forth, the clansman Ratthapala lay down there on the bare floor, saying, right here, I shall either die or receive the going forth. He's determined. He's determined. Then the clansman, Ratthapala's parents, said to him, Dear Ratthapala, you are our only son. Look at your mother crying. How can you leave her cry like this? Look at your father. He's even crying. How can you make him cry like this? We did so much for you, and now this is how you repay our kindness? Ratthapala, you have been born in comfort, raised in comfort, brought up in comfort. You know nothing of suffering, dear Ratthapala, and we're suffering like all get out because of your stupid thinking. Get up, dear Ratthapala, eat, drink, and amuse yourself. Yeah? Go out, meet some girls, play some video games. We'll get you a new smartphone. We'll even, it's the latest one. What is it, the I-25 now? Yeah, you will get you the latest thing. We'll even get you a boat. You can take all your friends out, go sailing. Get up, Ratthapala. Eat, drink, amuse yourself. While eating and drinking and amuse yourself, you can be happy enjoying sensual pleasures and making merit. Why are you doing this? Of course, you can put together sensual pleasures and making merit. You enjoy the 5 sense pleasures for the benefit of all sentient beings. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Anyway, we do not permit you to go forth from the home life into homelessness. Even in the case of your death, we would lose you unwillingly. So how could we give you our permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness while you are still living? No way. When this was said, the clansman Ratthapala was silent. For the second time, his parents said this. Ratthapala was silent. For the third time, his parents said to him, Dear Ratthapala, You are our only son, dear and beloved. I remember when you were 3 years old, you were so cute. And even when you were a baby, your little tush was so cute. I cleaned your poop and it was like honey. You know, how can you do this to me? I love you so much, Ratthapala. You know, everything I've dreamed to be that I could not be, I want you to have. And I never dreamed of becoming one of these ridiculous monastics. I dreamed of having a beautiful house and wealth and social status, and that's happiness, and I want you to have that, Ratthapala. Yeah, you've been raised in comfort, brought up in comfort. You know nothing of suffering, dear Ratthapala. Get up, dear Ratthapala. Eat, drink, and amuse yourself. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not interfering with your life, Ratthapala. But get the hell off that floor. While eating, drinking, and amusing yourself, you can be happy, enjoying sense pleasure, and making merit. I went online, I listened to one Lama. He said you can do that. I'll play the talk for you. Yeah, we do not permit you to go forth from the home life into homelessness. Even in the case of your death, oh God forbid, but it would be better than you're doing this. We would lose you unwillingly, so how could we give you our permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness while you are still living? For the third time, the clansman, Ratthapala, was silent. Okay, he's still lying on that floor. Then the clansman, Ratthapala's parents, you know, after taking a Valium, went to his friends. Yeah, went to his friends and said to them, "Dears, put down your smartphone for a while and look at me, please. The clansman Ratthapala has lain down on the bare floor, having said, 'Right here I shall either die or receive the going forth.' Come, dears, you've been his best friends since you were in first grade together. I remember you were all such cute little boys, a little mischievous, but so cute. So come, go to the clansman Ratthapala and say to him, 'Friend Ratthapala, you are your parents' only son. Dear, you are your friends, oh, where am I? Only son, dear and beloved, you have been raised in comfort, brought up in comfort. You know nothing of suffering, dear Ratthapala. Yeah, get up, friend Ratthapala. Eat, drink, and amuse yourself. Yeah, while eating, drinking, and amusing yourself, you can be happy, enjoying sense pleasures and making merit, just like we're doing. You can come back into our club. You know, there's this far out pub down the hill. We'll go there, and then there's this disco. We can, you know, go there afterwards, and, you know, look on Tinder, look on DateMate, look on, I don't know, whatever it is. You'll find someone perfect for you, Ratthapala. Yeah, how could your parents give you their permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness while you are still living? It's impossible. Yeah. So then the clansman Ratthapala's friends went to him and said, "Friend Ratthapala, you are your parents' only son, dear and beloved. You have been raised in comfort, brought up in comfort. You know nothing of suffering, friend Ratthapala. Get up, friend Ratthapala, eat, drink, and amuse yourself. While eating, drinking, and amusing yourself, you can be happy, enjoying sense pleasures and making merit. Come out with us to the pub, Ratthapala. Anyway, you're the one who always picks up the bill, so we really need you to come out. And we enjoy your company so much too. And, you know, come. And then they have this new game, you know. What is polka? There's some Yeah, so what is that? Is that a game? It's some new something. But, you know, Pokemon's the newest rage. You got to play Pokemon. You know, there's Ticklemon. There's, you know, anyway, you know, your parents do not permit you to go forth from the home life into the homelessness. I mean, come on. Yeah, your parents have given you so much money. Are you going to turn your back on them? They won't give you any more if you go and ordain. You better stay home. Your parents are loaded. They have, you know, they'll take care of you. You can go play golf all you want. Even you don't like playing golf, because golf is a little bit boring. You can go bowling. You know, you can go to the Olympics in Rio. Yes, Ratthapala, you know, just get up off the floor. We will buy you an instant ticket. Go to Rio, you know. We'll give you a specially enclosed tent where no Zika-infected mosquitoes will go. You'll have a blast there. You know, you'll meet Michael Phelps and all these people. And, I mean, what connections you can make. Go to Rio, come on. Okay. Even in the case, you can't leave your parents, you know? Even in the case of your death, they would lose you unwillingly. So how could they give you their permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness while you were still living? They said to their friend Ratthapala. When this was said, the clansman Ratthapala was silent. For the second time, and the clansman Ratthapala was silent. For the third time, his friends said to him, you know, friend Ratthapala, come on, get off the floor. You know, you're your parents' only son, dear and beloved, and, you know, they want something more from you, and we want to be your friend, and, you know, come on already. Why are you creating this crisis? You know, we're losing time. We could be, you know, I could be checking my email and I have to come talk you out of, you know, doing this stupid thing. I want to get back on Facebook. Come on, Ratthapala. You know, get up off the floor, you know, and just capitulate, you know. I mean, how can your parents give you their permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness while you are still living? What are they going to say to their friends? You know, give your parents a break. For the third time, the clansman Ratthapala was silent. Then the clansman Ratthapala's friends went to his parents and said to them, Mom and Dad, the clansman Ratthapala is lying down there on the bare floor, having said, right here, I shall either die or get the going forth. Now, if you do not give him your permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness, he will die there. But if you give him your permission, you will see him after he has gone forth. And if he does not enjoy the going forth, what else can he do but then return here? And like you said, he's a softy. He's not going to make it. It's going to be too hard. He's used to getting his way. He's the only child. He's going to go to that place and they're going to start telling him what to do. And he's going to say, you know, leave me alone. I'm the prince of my parents' household. Yeah, and if you tell me to wash one more dish, or, you know, walk around, you know, with bare feet on this hot asphalt going pin-to-pot, forget it. You know, so don't worry about him, Mom and Dad. He's a softy, he'll come home. So give him your permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness. Okay, so then the parents say, then, dears, we give the clansman Ratthapala permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness. But when he has gone forth, he must visit his parents. Okay, we want July 4th hot dogs. We'll make vegetarian hot dogs for him. It's okay. You know, we want Thanksgiving. Yeah, he can have roasted lettuce. we want Christmas. Yeah, he likes chocolate. He'll come for that. Valentine's Day too, chocolate. We want that. Yeah. Easter, eggs. He's not going to eat that. We'll give him something else. Don't worry. There's chocolate eggs. He can come for that. Okay? Yeah. And he has to go to his college graduation. Yeah, we've got to see him graduate for college. Better not just his BA. We want him to have a MA. Actually, PhD would be better. Actually, you know, he's my son. He needs to be a doctor. Okay, so he must visit his parents. And then the clansmen, Ratthapala's friends, went to him and told him, "Get up, friend Ratthapala. Your parents permit you to go forth from the home life into homelessness. But when you have gone forth, you must visit your parents." Yeah. Ratthapala's going, "I must visit my parents." Well, they didn't say when. Okay, maybe in 50 years. The clansman Ratthapala then got up, and when he had regained his strength, because he had been lying on that floor for a while, okay, he was a little bit chilled out. So when he regained his strength, he went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, he sat down at one side and told him, "Venerable Sir, I have my parents' permission to go forth from the home life into homelessness. Let the Blessed One give me the going forth." He didn't tell the Buddha the whole story about how he got his parents' permission. He just told him the conclusion. That was sufficient. Then the clansman Ratthapala received the going forth under the Blessed One. Yeah, so the going forth is the where you go forth from home life into homelessness. After that, you take the Shramanera precepts, the 10 precepts, and he received the full admission, so he received the Bhikshu precepts. Okay, then, not long after Venerable Ratthapala had received the full admission, a half month after he had received the full admission, the Blessed One, having stayed in Tulakotita as long as he chose, set out to wander towards Sravasti. So the Buddha was coming here. Okay, wandering by stages, he eventually arrived at Sravasti. And he saw all the monks and nuns and lay people gathered in front of Chenresi Hall, holding katas, waiting for him to come, crying with joy. And there he lived at Sravasti in Jeta's Grove at Anathapindika's Park, where the monastics had built him a very nice cabin, right in the middle of Anathapindika's Park, you know, with the vat. You have the hills on each side and the beautiful view. Yeah. No, there's no knapweed. Yeah. Okay. So before long, it seems maybe it was 12 years, but anyway, before long, dwelling alone, So Ratthapala is still meditating, okay? So before long, dwelling alone, withdrawn, diligent, ardent, and resolute, the Venerable Ratthapala, by realizing for himself with direct knowledge here and now, entered upon and abided in that supreme goal of the holy life, for the sake of which clansmen rightly go forth from the home life into homelessness. So he realized liberation. Yeah, he generated renunciation, yeah, had the correct view, got inferential and then direct perception of emptiness, used that to cleanse his mind of defilements. Yeah, and so he realized the supreme goal of the holy life. He directly knew birth is destroyed, the holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more coming to any state of being. So he realized he would never be reborn in samsara again. And the Venerable Ratthapala became one of the arhats. Then the Venerable Ratthapala went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, sat down at one side and told him, "Venerable Sir, I wish to visit my parents, if I have the Blessed One's permission." Then the Blessed One penetrated mentally the thoughts in Venerable Ratthapala's mind. When he knew that the clansman Ratthapala was incapable of abandoning the training and returning to the low life, the householder's life, he told him, "Now is the time, Ratthapala, do as you think fit." Okay, so Ratthapala only asked to go see his family after he had attained arhatship. Yeah, because he knew if he did it before, yeah, he was still vulnerable, and his parents could do a big trip and, you know, beat their chest, and "My child, how dare you leave, and I'm aging, and you're the only one that can take," you know, he knew what the scene would be, okay? And then the Buddha also checked up to make sure that he was suitable to go, you know, that he had attained arhatship. He wouldn't just, you know, throw in the robes and, you know, go to the smartphone store. Yeah, and so gave him, then so the Blessed One said, "Now is the time, Ratthapala, do as you think fit." Okay. So before I go on, let's just see. Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot more to the story, but do people have questions or comments so far? Okay. Then the Venerable Ratthapala rose from his seat, and after paying homage to the Blessed One, he departed, keeping him on his right. Then he set his resting place in order, and taking his bowl and outer robe, set out to wander towards Tulakotita. Wandering by stages, he eventually arrived at Tulakotita. There he visited in Tulakotita the king Kauravya's Migasira garden. King Kauravya's Migasira garden. Then when it was morning, so I guess he stayed the night there and slept, or meditated. When it was morning, he dressed, and taking his bowl and outer robe, he went into Tulakotita for alms. As he was wandering for alms from house to house in Tulakotita, he came to his own father's house. Now, on that occasion, the Venerable Ratthapala's father was sitting in the hall of the central door, having his hair dressed. When he saw the Venerable Ratthapala coming in the distance, he said, "Our only son, dear and beloved, was made to go forth by these bald-pated recluses." Ugh. Then, at his own father's house, the Venerable Ratthapala received neither alms nor a polite refusal. Instead, he received only abuse. Here comes one of these monks of that dimwit who took our son away from us. You know, he's another one who belonged to that cult. We can't stand these people. Get him out of here. Okay. So the daddy is quite unhappy. Yeah. Just then, a slave woman belonging to one of his relatives was about to throw away some old porridge. Seeing this, the Venerable Ratthapala said to her, "Sister, if that stuff is to be thrown away, then pour it into my bowl here." While she was doing so, she recognized the characteristic features of his hands, his feet, and his voice. Then she went to his mother and said, "Please know, my lady, that my lord's son, Ratthapala, has arrived." And Mama says, "Gracious, hallelujah! If what you say is true, you are no longer a slave. Oh my goodness, my baby boy has come back to see me." Then the Venerable Ratthapala's mother went to his father and said, "Please know, householder, they said that the clansman Ratthapala has arrived. Your son's back. Turn off the TV. Let's go see him." So Ratthapala's father said, "Look, it's the golf tournament on. I'll finish the golf tournament. Then I'll turn off the TV. Then I'll go see, because I really don't think so." Okay, just then, the Venerable Ratthapala was eating the old porridge by the wall of a certain shelter. His father went to him and said, "Ratthapala, my dear, surely there is..." "And you will be eating old porridge? Yeah? Is there not your own house to go to? Why are you eating that old junky porridge? My son will not eat old junky stuff. We have enough food. You want McDonald's, we'll get you McDonald's. You want the deli, we'll get you a corned beef sandwich. You want pizza, come, we'll get you the best kind of pizza. We know you like it with all sorts of stuff. Can't you come home to eat, Ratthapala? What are you eating that old stuff for?" Okay, how could we have a house, householder, when we have gone, this is Ratthapala speaking, how could we have a house, householder, when we have gone forth from the home life into homelessness? We are homeless, householder. Okay, so Dad is saying, you have a house here, come home. This is your home. Come home. And Ratthapala is saying, I left home. I'm living the homeless life. This is not my home. Yeah, I'm living the homeless life. My direction in life is following the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I'm not living a householder's life again, Mom and Dad. We are homeless. Yeah. Then he says, we went to your house, but we received neither alms nor a polite refusal there. Instead, we received only abuse. Then his father goes, "Oy vey. That was you who came to the door that I screamed at? Oh, how could I have done that?" Okay, so come, dear Ratthapala, let us go to the house, your home. Yeah, we have hot chocolate there. We know you love hot chocolate. We'll make you hot chocolate. I remember when you were a baby, we put the marshmallows in the hot chocolate and it melted. And you were so cute the way you took the spoon and dunked the marshmallow down. We know you love that. We'll make you hot chocolate all you want. Come, dear Ratthapala, let us go to the house. And Ratthapala says, "Enough, householder. My meal for today is finished." So it's past noon. He's not eating anymore. He doesn't say, dear Dad, He doesn't call him Dad. He says, "Enough, householder." Yeah. He doesn't say, "Dear Daddy, Papa, I love you so much. I want my hot chocolate. Do you still have my bicycle? I'm I'm sick of this wandering life. I want to go bike riding for once. Actually, you know, I've always wanted to go mountain climbing. Do you still have all my mountain climbing gear? You didn't give that away when I ordained, did you? Daddy says, no, we have it all. We knew you would come back. Yeah, all your stuff. We've got a storage unit down the road. 2 storage units. It's filled with all your stuff. Yeah. Then, dear Ratthapala, consent to accept tomorrow's meal. Yeah? And the Venerable Ratthapala consented in silence. So, okay, so you're not going to come today. We know you people have all your weird rules and stuff like that. But come home tomorrow. That gives us more time. You know, we remember you like the thick crusted pizza, yeah, with mushrooms and lots of cheese. Don't you, Ratthapala? We know you like that. Yeah, we know you like lasagna. And chocolate cake. Yeah, we're going to have a good meal for you, dear. But the Venerable Ratthapala consented in silence. Then, knowing that the Venerable Ratthapala had consented, his father went back to his own house, where he had gold coins and bullion made into a large heap and covered it with mats. Okay, so he took out lots of his, well, you know, all of his, you know, because Ratthapala's father was smart. He didn't just have money because, you know, money with inflation. His father had gold. Yeah, so he brought all the gold out, you know. I mean, he had some stocks and bonds too, but, you know, he brought those certificates out, his pile of gold, all his stock and bonds, the whole thing. Okay, into a large heap and covered it with mats. And then he told the Venerable Ratthapala's former wives. Seems like the early part of the story doesn't have him married, but apparently he was married, you know, and they could have more than one wife at that time. Then he told the Venerable Ratthapala's former wives, come, daughters-in-law, adorn yourself with ornaments in the way Ratthapala found you most dear and lovable. Any kind of perfume. We know there's this wonderful perfume called samsara. You know, put that on. You know, get your sexiest clothes out and come. Okay. Where are we? When night had ended, the Venerable Ratthapala's father had good food of various kinds prepared in his own house, and had the time announced to the Venerable Ratthapala. It is time, dear Ratthapala, the meal is ready. Okay, I think we should pause here.
I know.
There's still a lot more, though. Yeah, I can't finish it today. So I think there's enough to think about so far. Don't read ahead, okay? Okay. But if you have questions or comments, yeah. Can you imagine your own version of this? Yeah? Okay.